Have you ever looked across the room only to find your cat staring directly at you? Not moving, not making a sound, just watching you with wide, unblinking eyes. It can feel a little unsettling, almost like they're reading your mind. But science has finally revealed what is actually happening in their brain during these moments. And the truth is, they aren't just looking at you. They are actively trying to communicate. The first reason your cat stares at you without blinking is known as the predatory lock. But don't worry, they aren't planning to hunt you. In the wild, felines use an intense, unblinking stare to lock onto movement and calculate distance before a strike. When your cat directs this stare at you, especially if their pupils are slightly dilated and their ears are pointed forward, they are essentially saying, "You are the most interesting thing in their environment right now." They are tracking your micro movements, learning your patterns, and predicting what you are going to do next. They are studying you, gathering data about your habits to better understand the giant creature they live with. But there is a very different kind of stare, and this one is purely chemical. It's the oxytocin gaze. A recent groundbreaking study published in the journal Nature found that when a cat looks at you with soft, relaxed eyes and slowly blinks, it triggers a massive release of oxytocin in both of your brains. Oxytocin is the exact same hormone responsible for the deep bond between a mother and her child. When your cat stares at you and then slowly, deliberately closes their eyes, it is the ultimate feline trust fall. They are making themselves intentionally vulnerable. In the wild, closing your eyes in the presence of another creature is dangerous. By doing this, they are showing you that they feel completely safe in your presence. It is their way of saying, "I love you," and it chemically binds the two of you together. Sometimes the unblinking stare is actually a demand. We call this the trained gaze. Cats are incredibly observant, and they quickly learn cause and effect. If your cat sits near their food bowl or by a closed door and stares a hole through you, they are waiting for you to realize your mistake. They know that if they stare long enough, you will eventually look up, feel a bit guilty, and give them what they want. Without making a single sound, they have successfully trained you to respond to their visual cues. They don't need to meow. You might think you are the master of the house, but in this scenario, your cat is pulling the strings. Then there is the fear freeze. If your cat's eyes are wide open, their pupils are huge, and their body is incredibly tense, that stare is a cry for help. Just like humans, cats go wide-eyed when they are frightened or hyper-vigilant. They are staring at you because you are their protector. They are looking to you for cues on how to react to a sudden noise, a strange smell, or a new environment. If you panic, they will panic. If you remain calm, they will slowly begin to relax. Your reaction dictates their emotional state. However, we also need to talk about the medical stare. Veterinarians warn that if an older cat begins staring blankly at you or staring at walls for long periods, it might not be behavioral at all. This can be a sign of cognitive decline, similar to dementia in humans. It can also indicate hypertension, which affects their vision, or even focal seizures, which look like brief episodes of zoning out. If the unblinking stare is accompanied by confusion, disorientation, or a lack of response to their name, your cat is telling you that they feel lost and need to see a vet. And as their owner, it is your responsibility to recognize when a stare is actually a symptom. But what about when they stare at the wall right next to you? Many owners joke that their cats are seeing ghosts. The reality is actually much more fascinating. Cats have senses that we simply cannot comprehend. They can see ultraviolet light, which is completely invisible to the human eye. They can also hear frequencies up to 64 kilohertz, while we max out at around 20. When your cat stares blankly at a wall, they might be tracking the microscopic movements of a bug, or listening to the subtle scuttling of a mouse inside the drywall. They aren't seeing spirits. They are just experiencing a world you are blind to. The unblinking stare can also be an assessment of equality. Unlike dogs, who were bred over thousands of years to view humans as their masters, cats view us as large, clumsy roommates. They consider themselves our equals, When a cat locks eyes with you, they are assessing the social dynamic of the household. If you stare back aggressively, you are issuing a challenge. But if you break eye contact first, or offer a slow blink, you are acknowledging their status and keeping the peace in the home. It is a subtle negotiation of power, played out entirely through eye contact. Another fascinating reason is blink synchronization. Researchers have discovered that cats will actually time their blinks to match yours during moments of deep connection. If they are staring at you without blinking, they might just be waiting for you to make the first move. They are waiting for you to initiate the communication loop. Try it next time. When your cat is staring, give them a slow, deliberate blink. More often than not, they will return the gesture, completing the synchronization. This mirroring behavior is a profound sign of interspecies empathy and connection. We must also consider the scent processing stare. Cats have a specialized organ on the roof of their mouth called the Jacobson's organ, which allows them to essentially taste scents in the air. Sometimes, when a cat stares at you with their mouth slightly open, a behavior called the Feline response, they are analyzing a new smell on you. Perhaps you pet another animal, or brought home a strange scent from the store. They are staring because their brain is working overtime to process this new olfactory information. They are reading your scent history, trying to piece together where you have been and who you have been interacting with. The routine check is another common reason. Cats thrive on predictability. They have an internal clock that is shockingly accurate. If you normally wake up at 7 in the morning and it is now 7:15, your cat might sit on your chest and stare at you. They aren't just hungry. They are concerned that the routine has been broken. The unblinking stare is their way of asking, why has the schedule changed? Is everything okay? They need you to get back on track so their world makes sense again. Sometimes the stare is simply an expression of empathy. Cats are highly sensitive to human emotions. If you are crying, stressed, or feeling unwell, your cat will notice the subtle changes in your body language, your breathing rate, and your scent. They might come close to you and stare intensely. This isn't curiosity, it is concern. They are monitoring your state, trying to figure out how they can comfort you. Often, this stare is followed by a gentle headbutt, a soft purr, or simply sitting quietly by your side until you feel better. They are acting as your emotional support system. We also have the resource guarding stare. If your cat is sitting on your lap or next to you on the couch and staring down another pet or even another family member, they are claiming you. You are their most valuable resource. They are using their gaze to establish boundaries and tell the other individual to back off. It is a silent warning that says, "This human is mine right now." It is a compliment, wrapped in a tiny, furry threat. They value your attention so much that they are willing to defend it. The processing the past stare is something scientists are just beginning to understand. Cats have excellent short-term and long-term memories. Sometimes when they stare at you, they are simply recalling a previous interaction. Perhaps they are remembering the time you played with them yesterday, or the treat you gave them this morning. They are associating your face with positive experiences, reinforcing their bond with you through memory recall. They are literally daydreaming about the good times you have shared. The temperature regulation stare is a practical one. Cats are heat-seeking missiles. If they are staring at you from across the room, they might be evaluating your lap. They are calculating the distance, observing your posture, and deciding if you are settled enough to provide a stable, warm bed. Once they determine you aren't going to move anytime soon, the stare will end and they will make their approach. There is also the vocalization replacement stare. Some cats are naturally quiet and rarely meow. For these felines, staring is their primary form of communication. They have learned that humans are highly visual creatures who rely heavily on eye contact. Instead of wasting energy vocalizing, they simply position themselves in your direct line of sight and stare until you acknowledge them. Lastly, we cannot ignore the affectionate gaze. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one. Your cat stares at you because they genuinely enjoy looking at you. You are their favorite person. They associate your face with comfort, love, and security. In these quiet moments, when they are just resting near you and watching you work or read, they are simply appreciating your presence. It is a quiet, unassuming form of love that doesn't require any action or response, just mutual existence. So the next time your cat locks eyes with you, don't look away. Pay attention to their body language. Are they asking for food? Are they scared? Or are they just telling you that they love you? Try giving them a slow blink and see what they say back. If you want to understand more about your cat's secret language, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Leave a comment below telling us what your cat does when they stare at you.